Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
In the past, we've learned a lot from this guy when it comes to psychics and mediumship, and he does that for people. He does readings. He does them in person. He does them online. He's been doing it for quite some time. Today, we're going to learn about something that I really don't know a lot about. Heard about it, remote viewing, and it's connected to mediumship and more. Timmedium is back, and he knows all about it, and he's amazing. Welcome back, Tim. How you doing?
Good, Steve. How are you? Great to be back.
It's good to have you back here. And you've mentioned these two words, remote viewing, before. I get that. I get an image in my mind of watching something on your phone, your TV, remote viewing. But it's not that. It's you coming up with information or answers for people. Do I have that right?
It is something like that. There's a lot to remote viewing. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of dynamics that go along with remote viewing. But ultimately, what you want to do is get information. And sometimes it does revolve around individuals, people, and sometimes you're going in blind. So basically, what you're getting is eight numbers, and that's your target. Now, from those eight numbers, that directs you to the information you need to get.
Those eight numbers, where do those numbers come from?
It'll be either sent to you from someone. They have a specific target they want you to work on. And I'm just going to use one thing as an example. It's very common, would be 9/11, something of that nature. And I wouldn't know what the target is, but I would get the eight numbers, and the person who sends me the eight numbers knows what the target is. And I would just go into the target and I would collect information based on those eight numbers. But also now within it's not just one particular thing the person wants you to find out. It's more of, it'll be broken down into little segments of things. And within those segments of things, say, who was the culprit behind 9/11? Let's say it'll go into the people that were involved with it, and then it'll break it down into 10 different segments from that. So you'll have that one segment, and it'll be broken down into maybe 7 to 10 different segments of who was involved and how they planned it and where it was planned, and everything else that was in the room when it was planned.
I have a question that I got to ask you this, and maybe it ties into this because you mentioned a certain number of numbers. So the other day I was thinking about my mom, and I was just vibing her, and when I ask for a sign, I usually get one. And I was asking her, hey, show me a sign that things are going to be all right with, some situations that are going on. We haven't connected in a while, Mom. I don't like to overdo it. So I only do it, sometimes. I have my modem changed out here by the cable company, and they assign a password, and it's randomly generated. I'm looking at the password, and the password includes her name. Her name is Rose, and it's there. But surrounding it are 4 numbers in the front, dash Rose, dash 2 numbers, 6 numbers, not 8. I've been trying to figure out what they mean. I've been adding them up, turning them upside down. I don't even know what's going on here, but there's not a doubt in my mind that there is something going on here. Any thoughts? Where do I go with that? Anything that comes to you, with these numbers, the combination?
Yep. Sometimes it's as simple as that is the message. There's nothing more to it. It's just there's a reason you get those numbers, and it's simple as that. You wanted to hear a message from your mom, and there's your message. Your mom is beside you. You're around you. It's funny because most people now, I don't want to upset people when they say this, because they always say that their family member who just passed or passed 3 years ago is always around them, or is their spirit guide per se. Now, having a spirit guide, we all have spirit guides prior to that. So having a spirit guide, and we have a soul family that's around us. I would more go into that, and that's how they would connect to us. And for the most part, it would be your mom stopping in to give you a little message, per se.
I just
And
got
that,
something. I just got something. As you're saying it, I'm thinking about this. I said there's four numbers in the beginning. I took the two numbers and moved them to the side. The numbers, and I don't want to give up, too much information here personally, but the two numbers,
Mhm.
if I look at and when I broke them apart out of the four, if I look at the two numbers, they they are exactly 7 years away. If you minus 7 years, look at it in years, it's our age when she passed and my age right now. And it's 7 years.
Very cool.
It's exact. Uh, I don't know what that means. Trying to figure that one out. Maybe I don't know. It's got to be. Maybe she's trying to tell me the number seven about something.
Very well could be. Sometimes it is that. Sometimes now, when I yeah, it, sometimes it's as simple as they're just leaving a message, and sometimes it goes a little deeper than that for
Yeah.
sure. Yes, it
Yeah.
does. Ultimately, it has to come. The message. Now, there's such things as ethics when we talk about mediumship, and ethics are quite important. And this isn't. Mediumship and psychic work are two different things. Now, ethics in regards to mediumship has to be backed by the spirit and what the spirit brings through. Okay. Without any type of validation, there's no such thing as mediumship. It would be psychic work. It would be the old psychic work. That has to, there's things there that have to stop.
Yeah.
I just have to go into that specific direction because that's where I was led, right? So
Yeah. I always get it.
it isn't, mediumship, evidential mediumship is very specific. So everything that you're going to get is going to have to be backed up and validated by you or your mom in the spirit world. It can't be just something random. There's somebody behind me, uh, and next Christmas you're going to have a falling out with your brother or something like that. Well, there's no proof of that. There has to be proof of that. There has to
Sure.
be validation from the spirit world with that. So, in regards to the numbers, it has to be backed up by mom. Mom will back it up with something very specific that you'll know, and
So do you think
that's
you think it's reasonable to have fun with the numbers, just look at them, but then just wait and wait for something to reveal connected to the numbers?
I would just wait it out, and I would just let mom give you the next bit of information because she will be around you, okay? Uh, and she will give you something that will back up that. It's not just going to be something just out of the blue where you have to make it up. Mediumship isn't like that. It's not that at all. That's old school psychic stuff that doesn't apply to mediumship in the slightest, actually. And I hope I don't upset too many people, but that's anything in regards to evidential mediumship has to be backed up by the spirit world. There's no other. You just can't. The sitter either takes it or not. It's either a yes, I can take that, or it's a no. And now, why no? Or why yes? There has to be something very specific that the sitter, say, if I'm reading you and your mom came through, that you would be able to take from your mother, that you would understand fully,
Mm.
completely, that has happened to you, and or you're going through in your life right now, or your mother or your family has gone through. It just can't be something happening in a year from now that
Oh,
there's
I get
no
you. So that's difference between a psychic sort of like, I don't mean this in a bad way, but sort of like fortune telling as opposed to evidential mediumship, where this is the validation and that's that. You move on. One thing I do know for sure, she's sending me something. There's something there. What is it?
just
It'll get uncovered at some point, I guess.
Just be patient and just wait it out,
I
because the
can't.
next thing will be something very important that she everything happens for a reason, Steve. That's the
I know.
greatest thing about everything on the earth plane is
I
there's
agree.
nothing happens by chance, as we all know, right? So it's something that she wants you to understand. And listen, they will send you something very clear so you'll understand it. So if I'm doing a reading such as the one I did last night, and there's something the gentleman's not understanding, I just leave it there and I say to the gentleman, I say, listen, if your wife wants to talk about this one more time. Now, sometimes it's the medium because they don't talk in English. They talk in a different language, and it's up to the medium to sort out the information prior to delivering the message to the sitter. Now, and
Mhm.
what I said last night to the gentleman, I says, if your wife wants to talk about this again, she'll present it again in a fashion that I'll be able to understand and then relay it to you. And which in turn, which she did actually, and it was quite moving actually when she did finally bring it through again to where I could understand it as a medium. Yes. So
Have you sparked a thought here? Have you ever done a reading and you can't interpret what you're getting, but you're getting? So, for example, you're getting something in German, you know, and you don't understand German, but it's something there, or it's something cryptic or whatever, and you can. I'm not talking about the validation because you could say, well, I'm hearing German voices. Oh yeah, my dad was born in Germany. I mean something to the point where you can't even explain it to somebody else because it's just too garbled at the moment.
happens every reading. It does because like I said, they don't speak English. We have to, as mediums,
Hmm.
decipher what they're sending us. Now, a pen could mean the back tire of your car. That's just the direction they want to go in, but they're going to send you a message in regards to something to where it leads to something else. That's called blending. That's called
Uh,
blending with spirit. Now, there's two different types of mediumship: North American style and old school mediumship, which is everything is blending old school. That's the type of mediumship that gives you specifics to where mom's going to talk to you, and it's going to go deep into a conversation, and you're going to have validation for everything. As
and let's go back to remote viewing. How often do you practice that? And how similar or connected is it to traditional mediumship?
I practice remote viewing usually. I have been every day lately. Now sessions can take from an hour to 2 hours. Um, Now, once you've finished a session, now that doesn't mean the session is over. That just means one segment of the session could be over. It depends on what all needs to be found out in regards to what the uh, what the person who's sending you in wants, what information the person wants specifically from the remote viewing target itself, right? So
Mm.
it's similar in a fashion that it's coming from another place, the information, just like this is, but those are two different places. I don't use the same type of now, when I say this dimension, and I'm going to say dimension because I go to it when I work mediumistically, I'm going to go to another place. I go to another place to get that information. But when I work remote viewing, I'm going to a different place to get that information. And so it's presented in a different type of fashion. I can clearly see it or get feelings or as I go deeper into the remote viewing project itself, it'll present itself to in a lot of different ways.
Do you leave a lot of stuff on the table when you do a reading? By that, I mean, is there, this is, you deliver this much information to somebody in an hour, call it that, in an hour. But there's all this over here that was just garbled and hard to even decipher or explain that we just push that over to the side and we just deliver this over here.
It's not really when the spirit world comes in. Now, the only reason you're not getting the information, say and not going back to it is because that's on the reader. That's not on the spirit world sending you the information. Now,
Huh.
sometimes it might take me a second or two or three longer to get it, or I'll present it and it won't be the right thing specifically, but I'll wait 2 more seconds and then it'll be presented correctly. And then I'll have to say, well, we have to erase that because that isn't what they're sending me. It was something completely different, and that's what it is. Now, leave it on the table. We try not to, because that's on the medium. The spirits come here. That's just like having a so-called medium say, I can't connect to, say, your sister in the spirit world. Well, I can connect to your mom, your dad, your grandfather, and grandmother, but I can't connect to your sister. That's not remotely even possible. That's not quite true, because it's up to you as a medium. Everybody else is there. Why wouldn't your sister be there? Right. So it's
Hmm.
up to you to dig in and go get the information. It's not trust me, the spirit world is there to help us along, and they do. And so it's up to the medium to dig in and go to work. Yeah.
How often when you're in a crowded situation, or maybe you're doing a group reading where you're you're talking with one person, but all of a sudden you're feeding some info, but then you realize, oh no, it's this person over here, and then you bounce around. Uh, does that happen? And if it does, why does it happen?
Um, it does happen. You have to maintain control of the situation. And I tell this to my students. It's up to you as a medium to maintain control over your situation with the spirit world. Yes, it happens quite often at Christmas time, where you'll get 7 family members coming in. They all want to talk at once. It's up to you to just say, "Hey, pump the brakes. Let's relax here. I'm working with this one, and this is one." Yes, it has happened quite a bit.
Wow.
At more times than you think. In 10 readings, it'll probably happen 8 times, or you have multiple spirits come in.
Huh.
So,
Um, I'm sure this is, if that's happened, I'm sure people have said to you, oh, and you're in a group setting and you deliver something for this person over here, that somebody, chimes in and says, no, wait a minute, that's my dad. Sounds like my dad. And then it really is once you pivot over to that person.
there are cases in regards to, and I teach this in my school too. It's so you work with, so let's say there's 25 people in front of you, and you have a gentleman here that used to work in the mines, and 2 or 3 people, of course, depending on the community you live in, will put their hands up because 3 fathers worked in the mines. Now, as you go deeper and deeper, it'll separate itself in regards to which gentleman or which family or which person whose father is here. Just go a little deeper by what the information they're presenting you. That's going to dictate which direction and which sitter it belongs to. So yes, and
Hmm.
sometimes it'll be two. Sometimes the two will go right to 10 different things, and all of a sudden, poof, you get that one specific thing that it can only be this gentleman and this
Wow.
family and this lady and this daughter or this mother. Yeah, it
Because
takes
it's so
time. Sometimes
specific.
it takes a little more time. Yeah.
Yeah. I just got another flash and I'm going to share it with you because we're here together and there's a reason we are. My mom is sending me the number 7.
Okay. What do alligators mean, Steve, for you? What is that about?
Let me think.
Yeah. What would the shirts with alligators on it mean? That's what your mother seems to be, or something seems to be sending me that for you just out of the blue like that. Or did your mother used to make cookies for you, Steve?
She did. Yeah.
Yeah, she was the baker for you. Yeah. Okay. She also liked flowers. I know her name is Rose, but she also liked flowers. It was something that now she liked to dress nice. Your mother, she took care of herself, correct?
Very
She liked
polished.
jewelry. Showing me her rings. She's showing me her gold rings. You understand that for your mother?
Hmm.
Okay. You understand her nice short hair that she used to manicure quite often?
She had short hair.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. Okay. Her fingernails, her dresses, her collared dresses. Yes. Okay. So
Yeah. When I
when
when
she
I picture
showed me,
her, I see a shirt with a collar.
yeah, because that's what she's showing me right now, and that's how she's going to produce the information. validation for you from her, correct? So now
Hmm. Hmm.
it's almost like that board games, but it's not board games. It's almost like a chess is what she's showing me. But your mom likes shopping as well. Of course, ladies like shopping, but
No, she
your mom
did.
liked to go to high fashion shopping with your mom, a little higher end than
Her
most ladies. Yes,
she would go shopping once a week. Even if she's just going to walk through the store, she would go. Yeah.
yeah, very much so. That's
Hmm.
what you're showing me. I also have a gentleman here, Steve, with a chubbier face. Now, it almost seems to me like that would be her father. You know,
Could be, but he
who's
passed before I was born.
okay? Yeah, we can't go there. Then we don't stay there. Then we make sure that the spirit world knows that we don't stay in this situation. We keep moving along. Steve, you have a brother?
I don't have a brother.
You don't have a brother? Okay, that's okay. All right, I'm just going to put
Hmm.
this here because she's showing me a boy. Okay, I'm just going to keep that here. Okay. Now I'm going to go to when you were younger, Steve. Okay, if I may.
Sure.
Okay. Now, she's showing me you walking hand in hand with her. Would you have done that when you were about 6 or 7, Steve? Yeah.
Yep.
You recall that?
I definitely do.
Yeah, okay, because that's what she's showing me. And you would take walks, and she's showing me what she's showing me is almost like a park setting with trees in it. You understand that? And the trail. You understand that? Walking with mom
Hmm.
through the park in a park setting like that.
We had a
It
park next
almost,
to our house, and I would always hold her hand because I had very big separation anxiety when I was little.
and that's why she's showing me that situation. Perfect.
Hmm.
Beautiful. Okay. Yeah. Your mom's actually, uh, just hang on with the cooking here. I just want to see where she's going with this cooking. Now, it's almost like she loved to eat. Uh, she cooked a lot, but she didn't eat a lot.
Correct. She was
Right.
thin, very thin.
Yeah, she didn't like to eat. She's showing me that, but she did like to cook. She did like food, but she didn't like to eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would pick away at things. She liked cheese, she's telling me.
Cheese.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
I'd
almost
have
like
to
she's
think.
picking.
Hmm.
That's okay. We're gonna keep that there. You think about that, and we'll just see where she's going with what she wants to go. Steve, where's this bakery that you guys used to go to?
The one right up the corner.
Yeah, because she's showing me that bakery.
I'm trying to
Okay.
think of the name. Brink's Bakery.
Brings bakery.
It was
Uh,
literally the shopping center right there. Like
that's
right.
what she's.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, that's what she's showing me. She's showing me your first bike too, actually. By the way, and you used to have this red wagon as well, but she also showing me this new bike that she got for you when you were
Um.
younger. Okay.
I had both. I had both.
Yeah. Yeah, she showed me the red wagon when she showed me hand in hand, and I didn't bring that in because I thought it might be a little generic. But now she showed me this new bike that she bought for your birthday, I believe it was. Is that correct?
Trying to remember. It's kind of far back, but I'm
Oh,
thinking about it in the age that I was right around that time.
okay, I'll just leave that there for a second. Everything you can check. Nothing's not going to go away. It's still on the table for you to
Sure.
check, and you can go back and look at that. Um, and I'm just going to keep moving along here. Now, she's showing me now who's got the nose problem with the nose. Who gets nose issues? She's showing pointing to her nose. What is that? And that is with you, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
because
you got it. You got
yeah,
it.
she's showing.
She
She's
had.
she's showing. Yeah,
Let me validate this. We have just like a minute or so left, but you're beyond on target. Um, she was diagnosed with cancer and lost half her nose.
and that's why she's pointing to her nose.
Yeah,
Beautiful, not
and
beautiful. Sorry to hear that, of course, but
right, and my nose. Got into a fight um when I was 22, and I have a deviated septum, and have had it since then. Never got it fixed.
that's very. And is it the cause of your liquids flowing from your nose?
Um, could be.
Okay. You just leave that there. I think that's good enough information for the nose there. Okay. And she keeps going to her gold ring, Steve. Do you still have that ring? Do you have that ring?
I do.
Yeah, because she keeps pointing to that ring, and she hasn't left that ring. And she brought that ring in earlier. Now she's bringing it in again, and you would have that ring.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's very important for her to bring that through to you. Okay, good. All right.
Wow. We're out of time. I don't want to stop because you went from here to here in terms of specifics. Where would somebody get the nose thing from?
That's
And it's funny. Me and my sister were talking. I have a twin sister, and we were talking last night about we have a little dimple on our nose. Both of us do, and that just came up 2 nights ago.
very cool. I was actually going to go when I said your brother, and you said no. I had a lady here as well, and she brought in a sister, and I didn't want to bring that in because then it just sounds like I'm just going through the numbers, and I should have went there. That's was important to your mother, but I didn't.
Hmm.
Sometimes when we don't nail what we should be seeing, that's what happens sometimes. So
Gotcha. And the cheese, it's probably something she liked. She liked Danishes with cheese, like a lot, a lot.
that's why she went to the cheese and then to the bakery.
As a matter of fact, her favorite thing would be to go to the store and get a raspberry cheese Danish. And every year on her birthday, I seek one out and I find it. I buy it.
Wow.
Yeah, because that was her
Very
thing.
beautiful.
Yeah, and like you said, she didn't eat a lot, but those things get out of the way. That was her thing. That raspberry cheese Danish. Hmm. Wow. Uh, yeah, yeah, good stuff. Pretty amazing. And again,
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom. She came in to say hi to you.
yeah, she's always around. She's always around. The nose thing. There, I mean, that's after that was done. That was the her decline. Because after she had that surgery, she stopped driving. So probably about maybe 3 years after that, that's when she passed. Because it was a game changer. Major. And then she subsequently had some neck surgery too. Skin cancer. Wow.
Clicks the antiques.
Have to think about that. Maybe my
Go to the
sister.
wagon. Go to the wagon wheel. Now, it can't be a maybe. This has to be something of importance because they just showed me a wagon wheel. Now, a wagon wheel will be Western. Now, that's going to have meaning. I'm just not sure where it belongs to it. I'm
we
just going
we
to tell
have
you
to
the word.
go. We have to go. But the Wagon Wheel was a restaurant that we would all go to as a family.
Thank you.
Not kidding. And it's now called the Meadow Club, but it was called the Wagon Wheel. And I was in my just even before my double digits, 8, 9, around there. We would all go there.
On.
The Wagon Wheel.
Cool.
Hmm. How do we reach you, Tim? How do we find you? Somebody wants to get a reading. How do we do that?
Timmedium.com. And just go to Google timmedium.com, and that's my webpage, and all my information is there for anybody to obtain and to contact me. And I'd be more than happy if somebody did that. That's why we're here.
The Wagon Wheel. I have not heard or thought about that name I couldn't even put a number on it because it goes so far back. And as I see it, I could tell you where I was sitting at one time by a window, round table. Gotta go, Tim. Fantastic.
Right on.
All
And
right.
Steve,
Thank you very much. And
have
we'll
a
catch
great
up.
time. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. We'll
Chat
catch up
again.
soon. All right. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay.
Mom's setting the number 7. I'll see you in 7 days.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.